Hi tribe, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought let me do a video on what I invest in. So I'm always telling you guys invest, save, do this, do that. But today I want to share some of the stuff that I personally do for my own finances. So I'll be sharing apps, websites, and tools that I personally use to make sure that my finances are in tip-top shape. Okay, so let's get right into it. The first one that I invest in is Fedgroup. Okay, so Fedgroup has alternative investments. So here you can invest in solar panels, you can invest in beehives, you can invest in blueberries, and I have blueberries and solar panels. I know they did bring something out just a couple of weeks ago. Oh, I can't remember now. But when you go onto the app, you will see all of those things that they have. I actually haven't gone on their app in a very long time. But for me, my strategy when it comes to investing, I invest in the things that I like, I think have the potential to grow. I think that they will give me either income or dividends. So I'm a long-term investor. So that's why actually I haven't checked their app in a very long time. I don't want to invest in more blueberries. I don't want to invest in more solar panels at the moment. If I did, then definitely I would be back onto their app, and you can download it on your app store. Okay, so that's the first thing. Then of course, everybody, if you are in South Africa, you should have an Easy Equities app on your phone. You should be able to access it on your laptop. This app has been a game changer in SA. Okay, for the first time, if you want to invest in shares, you can do so easily and you don't have to have tons of money to do so. So I love the Easy Equities app. I'm in love with it. Okay, I can kiss it, all right, because it has made investing so easily accessible and so easy for every single person. All right, so Easy Equities app, I use it to buy shares, and I have tons of shares there, and I think I'll do another video about the strategy that I use for investing in shares. And if you haven't seen a video that I did with Omega from Money Mondays, I will link it below as well, so that you can get to watch that, so that if you are starting your investment journey, it's a brilliant video. Okay, so Easy Equities app, I love you. If I could write a love letter, I would write it to Easy Equities. Okay, and I've seen my wealth grow through Easy Equities. Before, I used to use the app that I had with my bank. They do have shares on there as well, but the Easy Equities app is much cheaper. And remember guys, every time when I talk about investments, there is cost to investing, that you must know. So you must always look for the most cost-effective way to invest. All right, so the Easy Equities app, I give it 2 thumbs up. So that I use to buy shares. Then the next, it's not an app, I don't think they have an app, excuse me. They do have a brilliant website, excuse me, and that is the Marriot asset management website. Okay, Marriot asset management. And I remember I was doing a webinar for a client, I think 2 months ago, and I mentioned the Marriot website, you know, for them to check out. And someone was like, "Hey bo, Marriott is not just hotels." I'm like, "No ma'am, no sir." It's actually an asset management house. And what I love about Marriott, and I'm not going to get into how they operate exactly, but I love the fact that they are dividend investor. So they invest your money in companies that pay dividends. Long story, but that's who I have my retirement annuity with. Retirement annuity, fantastic way of saving for retirement, and has many great tax benefits as well. All right, then Sygnia asset management. I love Sygnia. Okay, I know I said I love Easy Equities, but I also love Sygnia. One of the most forward and future thinking asset managers I believe in the country. I love them, and I have my tax-free savings account with them. I have my kids' tax-free savings accounts with them as well. Forward thinking, they have really amazing sexy stuff there. If you're not afraid of risk, definitely Sygnia is for you. They do have moderate funds and exchange traded funds as well, but if you're someone like me who understands risk and is comfortable with risk, I think they are a brilliant asset manager. And the CEO, no, she's no longer a CEO, Magda, a brilliant woman, just will blow your mind. I'm actually gonna be buying her book this weekend, and I'll do maybe a little review about it. But a brilliant woman, an immigrant from Poland, came here to SA when she was young, and one of the richest women in SA. She's mwah, okay, but just a brilliant mind, just how her mind works. I love women who are brilliant, okay? I love women who are brilliant. And I was even saying this to Pam earlier. She's laughing because she knows what I'm about to say, that you know, there's nothing like working with someone who's smart, someone who can think. You know, I don't have to tell Pam, hey, she will immediately be like, oh, Mapalo, what about this or what about that? So, you know what, working with smart people, trust me, will elevate you, okay? That's Sygnia for my tax-free savings investment, together with my kids' tax-free savings investment. Then, of course, I have a 32-day notice account. And for me, the 32-day notice account is very important because I use it as an emergency fund. And I know people always give me a red flag to say, why would you have an emergency fund in a 32-day notice account? You can't wait for 32 days when an emergency is happening. I know that, right? Remember, an emergency fund must be easily accessible. It must be somewhere that you can access the money quickly without losing any money, like putting it in the stock market. But I know myself. You know, when it comes to personal finance, you must know yourself. And I know myself, if I had my emergency fund in a normal account where you can just access without some sort of barrier, ma'am, say, I would spend it on hair. I will spend it on shoes. I will spend it on my kids. Pam is like, I will spend it on holidays. I've been saying I need a holiday so badly. I would have literally right now, I would have gone on holiday if my emergency fund was completely easily accessible. So for me, it's just a barrier. And I know that if I want to take the money out for anything other than an emergency, I would pay a penalty. So that's how a 32-day notice works, that you will pay a penalty if you access it sooner. If you have an emergency and a penalty is it's just a penalty. I'm willing to pay the penalty versus having it so easily accessible that I spend it all on a holiday and not have an emergency fund, right? So I think another thing that I want to reiterate when it comes to personal finance, it is personal. You must know yourself enough to know that I don't have a credit card because I know I will max it out. I don't have a credit card because of that reason. So if you are someone who's prudent enough and you know that you won't go beyond a certain thing, that's okay. You can have a credit card. You can have your emergency fund in just another account that you can easily access, but you can look at it and be like, no, I'm not going to touch it. Me, I'm going to go on holiday. Okay. Then, and most banks offer a 32-day notice account. Some banks I know, I used to have a 7-day notice account as well, so that can be an option, but do something that works for you, okay? Then another thing that I absolutely love is called Bank My Change, and this is with FNB. I love it. It makes saving so easy. You don't even have to think about it. It's not something that you're like, oh, okay, this month I'm going to save 5,000. This month I'm saving 100 rand. This month I'm saving 10. No, it makes it so easy because it's called Bank Your Change. So it literally rounds off whatever you spent and it saves that amount of money. So it can be in 20s, 100 rand, or whatever amount you choose. And I've chosen the maximum. And it's so lovely opening my banking app and realizing that I've saved effortlessly. Oh, effortlessly. And I normally use that money for my holidays, of course. That's a little bit of spending money on holidays. Guys, you know what? This is my belief about personal finance, about money. That do the right things, but don't deny yourself the things that you enjoy. I've done the right things, I've saved, I've invested. So why now must I cry and not go? I'll go on holiday, okay? So that's Bank My Change. Then I have my global account with my bank, and that's for when I do go on holiday overseas, or I can save a little bit of money and a bit of interest on that side. So if I do choose to send my kids to school abroad, but I mean, that's a long-term thing. But I think sometimes, you know, with banks, what I've seen, they will give you things that sound sexy. You know, like you're so special. You're not special. They are taking their fees. And for me, that's what I must always remember, because I think most of the time we can get very much carried away with what is being offered to us. It's like that whole thing of qualifying. Pam is like, what are you talking about? It's like that whole thing of qualifying. Just because you qualify does not exactly mean that you can afford this thing, right? So you always have to go back and do your absolute budget and say, okay, this is what I can actually afford. So I'll give you an example. With a black card, so a bank will tell you that you qualify for a black card. Perfect. And I think it's a wonderful thing when you're around your friends to, you know, when everybody's paying with their gold, you take out your black cards. Manyora. I've heard it in a song. Okay. So it feels great, but you have to weigh what are the benefits that I'm getting out of this thing. So if you're someone who is flying all the time, if you're someone who needs, you know, constant interaction with a banker, I think that's brilliant. Go for it. Convenience. But ma'am, if your job is to go from here to the job and come back, what do you need all those benefits for? Because you are effectively paying for them. Remember that. You are paying for those benefits. That card comes with other costs. It doesn't come for free. Okay. So for me, I always look at it like, okay, if I'm going to pay $500 for a specific card versus paying $100, 99 rand, and I know that, yes, I'll just need to make a call instead of having to send an email and someone calls me. What is the effort versus what you're paying? And if I can save $400 and put it extra towards perhaps my retirement annuity, I think I get more return for that. But I think there comes a stage in your life where things like that shouldn't matter or wouldn't matter. But when you're starting out, every rand matters more towards your retirement annuity, more towards your savings, more towards the things that are going to grow your wealth. Okay. So I have nothing against black card, Katia Manyora. Kalaya Manyora, not cash, Lord. Kalaya Manyora, you know, do your thing, but always look at the benefits versus what it costs you. All right. So that's my global card, and maybe talking a little bit about benefits and all of that. Then of course I have my life cover and disability cover with an insurance company. I don't think I should mention them because you literally can get that with any insurance company, okay, as long as it's a reputable company. Then the last one, I used to use the 24/7 app quite a lot when I started out. I don't use it as much anymore. Actually, I don't really use it anymore. I love my Excel spreadsheet. I'm a bit old school, but if you want a budgeting tool that you can link your cards to, the 24/7 app is mwah, it's brilliant. Okay, so those are the apps and websites that I use for my financial life and the things that I do have. Then I just want to talk quickly through some of the stuff that I'm consuming on the internet, that I'm reading, to make sure that I keep up to date with my knowledge, and I know it helps me with my research when it comes to investing in shares. Because I think actually looking at my portfolio, the biggest portfolio that I do have is my shares. I invest a lot in shares. It excites me. I'm not gambling or anything, but it's one thing that I really, really do enjoy. Okay. Now, the first one is, I'm going to give a shout out to Money Mondays, to Omega. I did a video with him. He was here. I'll also link that. I did say I'm going to link it. So I'm going to link that. He is brilliant. He knows his stuff. Then another, is it a podcast or YouTube channel that I absolutely have enjoyed, and I think I tell him about it all the time, like, oh, do you know what they were talking about today? So it's a Jewish channel, right? It's a Jewish YouTube channel. It's called L'chaim Living, and it has a playlist called Kosher Money, and they talk about personal finance. But I love the way they talk about personal finance. It's a very humane way. You know what I don't like about personal finance experts or gurus? Like, I'm shouting at you, you must do this, you must do that. You are, hey, life happens even to the gurus, okay? Life happens, and I never want people to walk away from watching my channel feeling like they are ashamed, oh, they are not doing the right things. Look, sir, ma'am, we all have messes and we all have tough times. So for me, I always want it to be enriching. I want you to know that this is what you should be doing. Even if you're not there, know that you can get there. So I think that's why for me, I really appreciate that channel, because it's very similar to the type of style that I love. Then in SA, there's a mailing list. It's called InceConnect. I'll link it. I'll also link all of the things that I've spoken about today. It is a brilliant newsletter that I read absolutely every day. It tells the news of what's happening on the JSE, on the stock market, what deals are being made, who's selling what. It's a brilliant newsletter. Then lastly, not least, I have tons, but ones that I can mention right now. The last one is MoneyWeb. Okay, they even have a subscription model, but I think even just the normal website you can use, and it is brilliant. So do let me know what apps you use. What do you like that enriches not just your personal finances, but you as a person, because that goes a long way. All right, I will see you soon, tribe. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe and do the whole ting.